So the Ross Atkins press conference just finished up here. And as you and I were expecting,
Bombshells.
all sorts of important information
Wow.
for the upcoming off season and the directions they're going to go were addressed. Ross Atkins sometimes gets a little bit of shit for his GM talk. Well, it was GM Speak 101 for this press conference, my dude. There was absolutely nothing said in this thing. Not that we were expecting anything to be said. I mean, I did jot down a few points that kind of stood out to me. So they're looking to improve the team any way possible. Which, again, very GM speak.
Well, that's good news. I'm sure glad
we knew this.
Yeah.
We knew this, and we know what he means. He means that, yes, there are areas of strength on this team, but if they can find a way to still improve an area of strength, they're probably going to go about doing it. He did talk the lefty bat when asked directly about it, and basically brought up the fact that this team has been pretty good against left-handed pitching. He said that there is a reason to go out and get a lefty bat, which is to give pitchers a different look, and that he's well aware of it, and that they are going to comb over the information that they have collected.
Do you think this is all a bluff, though, Scott? Let's read the tea leaves here.
Of course he's not.
We need a left-handed bat, right? We cannot go through the offseason thinking, we're pretty good against left-handed pitchers.
And he knows this.
This is negotiation posturing, right? So we don't seem desperate and the other team knows we got to overpay.
He loves this core. But what else are you expecting him to say? If he's actually planning on trading Bo Bichette or actually a huge shakeup, which I think it was Arden Zwelling that posed the question to him. He brought up the Alomar Carter trade and just, maybe a shuffling of the core is something to consider. And he poo-pooed it right away. But again, what do you expect him to say?
Has to say that.
Front office has never showed his cards.
If he makes any public indication that Bo Bichette's on the hot seat, Bo Bichette has to be gone, right? We can't have Bo Bichette coming back after having anything but full public support from the front office, right? So if there's any indication he's gone, we lose all leverage in trade negotiations.
He did mention, and in a weird way, but it seemed like he gave support to John Schneider.
Kind of.
He said
some support, I guess, is the key word.
He said he's probably the best candidate to lead this team going forward. Which, honestly, man, I know that's not saying anything, but why even say that if you weren't truly leaning towards John Schneider? And MLB does really push teams to not make announcements during the playoffs, or if they're going to do it like Atlanta did and do it on an off day when nobody's playing. Again, I'm not saying to read too much into it, but I get the feeling John Schneider's coming back. And again, if he's not, why even say he's probably the best guy to lead this core going forward? But those were my big takeaways from this press conference.
Stripling?
And they weren't big takeaways. Yeah, he did his, again, more GM speak. We love Ross Stripling. We think he would fit well with this team out of respect for the Stripling family and their big decision coming up and blah, blah. I mean, again, what else are we expecting out of him? He did what we thought he would do.
That, to me, though, feels like he's gone. That's the one thing that maybe I'm reading too much into this. Felt like if he really wanted Ross Stripling to be here, he could have done his GM speak in a way that was like, we are so grateful for what Ross did, and of course we're going to do everything we can to retain him. It was a little too Fence City.
It felt Robbie Ray-ish after last season.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll make this quick. We did such a long
let's get out of here.
We don't need to go on too long here, but that was more or less the takes from this Ross Atkins press conference.
What, if you're watching this on YouTube, let us know your thoughts on the press conference. Were you happy with it? Frustrated with it? What do you want to see this off season? Let us know. We got another mailbag next Tuesday. We'll get to all of them.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you are, for whatever reason, still listening to us boneheads chatter on here, we'd love it if you hit subscribe and hit the like button. At Walk Off Podcast on Twitter, the Walk Off Podcast on Instagram, and there's a link in the show notes to join our Discord if you are in the mood to sit around and chat Blue Jays with 200 other rabid fans. Take care, everybody. Cheers.